Next, we would like to invite General Shavendra Silva, Head of the National Operational Centre for Prevention of COVID-19 and Chief of Defence Staff and Commander of the Sri Lanka Army. General Shavendra will address us on managing the pandemic, protecting life, livelihoods and economic momentum.
Distinguished guests, participants, very good morning to all of you. I consider it is a privilege to address this investors forum today, and I'm thankful to the organizers for inviting me to deliver a speech as the Chief of Defence Staff, the Commander of the Sri Lanka Army, and Head of National Operations Centre for Prevention of COVID-19 in Sri Lanka. I wish to share my thoughts on managing the COVID-19 pandemic, protecting life, livelihood, and economic progress. As we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic has disturbed the entire livelihood of the world, posing a substantial threat to the social and economic well-being of mankind. Despite the consequent economic retardation, this pandemic has challenged the security of human lives as never before. In this extensively connected world, it is not possible to design the livelihood in isolation. It is necessary to maintain economic, diplomatic, and social relationships with the world. Thus, it has to be understood that managing the pandemic, preserving the economy, and restoring complete normalcy is an enormous challenge. In order to reinstate the economic normalcy, usual livelihood and social aspects amidst COVID-19 pandemic, it is decisive to bring the country into a certain condition in which socio-economic activities could be continued with the best practices under minimum regulations. In Sri Lankan context, the necessity of this phenomenon was well felt by His Excellency the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and the government of Sri Lanka. Thus, the response strategy is based on, firstly, breaking the chain of spread. Secondly, curbing the spread by separating the infected from uninfected and isolating the exposed and vulnerable population. Thirdly, treatment of infected personnel, minimizing the losses of lives. Fourthly, minimizing citizen suffering from associated losses of earnings, travel restrictions, and difficulties to access medical and other necessities. Fifthly, achieving the population immunity through vaccination, which is the accepted best means of defense against the virus. And finally, maintaining and progressing the economy and livelihood during the post-pandemic. National Operations Centre for Prevention of the COVID-19, headed by me, is the forefront national body appointed by His Excellency the President for operationalizing the battle against COVID-19 in Sri Lanka. It roofs the authorities of health and medical, military and law enforcing agencies, economic think tanks, disaster management units, administrative and social bodies, etc. In addition, His Excellency the President has appointed a Presidential Task Force for Economic Revival and Poverty Eradication to ensure the economy and social well-being of the population. In the National Operations Centre for Prevention of the COVID-19, the recommendations regarding the medical infrastructure, degree of restrictions, isolation of areas, facilitating the livelihood, etc., are carefully taken considering the real-time and update facts. Thereafter, the decisions taken by His Excellency the President and the government are disseminated downwards for action on ground. Therefore, I would say that we are making all our efforts to have a very comprehensive and a cohesive body to battle against COVID-19, guided by the country's highest authorities. This strategy is operationalized by distancing rules, encouraging best practices, contact tracing, isolation, and quarantine processes. Military and national intelligence are extensively utilized for contact tracing, supported by the public health authorities for subsequent monitoring and evacuation. Military, assisted by health authorities, spearheaded the isolation and quarantine processes, where security forces build and maintain quarantine facilities and provide security and medical assistance to run the quarantine centers island-wide. In curbing the spread by separating the infected from uninfected and isolating the exposed and vulnerable population, the military assists in establishing and managing the intermediate care centers under the guidelines of the healthcare authorities. Also, it is important to note that we have never neglected the tourists, foreign nationals, and business partners living in Sri Lanka. We have had special consideration of such personnel from the beginning of the pandemic, and we have taken care of them and assured their well-being as Sri Lankan citizens. As of today, healthcare authorities make a tremendous effort to minimize the losses of lives. We have been able to manage all infected cases, giving best possible treatments and facilities to save their lives. Maintaining the new normalcy of life and minimizing the human suffering due to the pandemic and economic drawbacks in Sri Lanka, the government administrative system has been empowered to collect, report, and disseminate the information to authorities so that essentials are uninterruptedly supplied to the population through a well-established government mechanism supported by private partners. The vaccination program, which has been the main focus of the government, is being carried out, covering the entire island, considering the spread and the prevalence of the virus, where the government's cordial diplomatic ties have been facilitated to get down the vaccinations. Also, we are in the process of getting down adequate vaccines in future as well. Through this, we expect to shield the entire population from COVID-19 by end 2021 to early 2022, allowing the workforce, economic pillars, economic counterparts, and general public to run the country for its advancement. We have effectively managed the first and the second wave of the COVID-19, and we are so far in the process of controlling the third wave successfully. It has to be understood that the COVID-19 is not merely a health issue. Managing the pandemic is essentially managing the economic and livelihood as well. Also, the resilience in pandemic is essentially the resilience in the economy too. Therefore, the government has never underestimated the importance of local and international economic activities to run the country's economy. The government, under the visionary leadership of His Excellency the President, initially identified economic indicators to keep the momentum of the economy whilst battling with the pandemic. The basis for this is preserving the conducive environment for economic activities, scaling from daily wage earners to large-scale factories, especially the apparel sector that largely contributes to the country's economy. Small country like us cannot lock down for a long period unless the country has a very strong economy. I think we have been so far able to maintain the higher potential to engage in economic activities during this pandemic. This is where the local and external investors must give a significant thought. Amidst the pandemic, we emphasized on improving domestic products, achieving self-sufficiency in food and services, and increasing the exports and value-adding of goods and services. The government has encouraged and empowered the small, medium, and major businesses counterparts with necessary financial, legal, and technological assistance. Therefore, I believe Sri Lanka is ready to explore and absorb industrial, agricultural, and service-based opportunities by now, and to achieve such hallmarks for a country like us amidst pandemic. It should be a balanced approach between health and the economic sectors. Preserving the national economy has been a decisive factor for Sri Lanka before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and will be post-pandemic too. We have given equal emphasis to external and internal aspects of national economy. Let me emphasize that despite having imposed travel restrictions to control the spreading of the COVID-19, the country was never closed for economic and economic-related activities. Our pandemic management strategy includes the uninterrupted running of industries, factories, export agencies, and international businesses where the employees have been assured to work amidst the pandemic with all necessary healthcare precautions and associated facilities. This has been the strength of Sri Lanka so far. We have emphasized on safe tourism, giving the guarantee to long and short-term tourists that Sri Lanka is a safer destination. We are in the process of developing and improving the biosecure bubble in tourism, sports, and diplomatic visits. Sri Lanka has proven its competencies in providing a biosecure environment from the port of landing back to the departure. In this aspect, we have readjusted infrastructure, transport, food and beverage, and health facilities to provide cutting-edge and quality service. Also, by now, we are focusing on enhancing Sri Lanka's potential in facilitating MICE tourism, meaning meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. Considering the situation in and around the world, we expect the relatively safer situation in Sri Lanka will give a boost to this market in time to come. Despite the restrictions due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Sri Lanka has committed to continuing the building of necessary infrastructure and service facilities for the industrial and business advancement, which is a significant prerequisite for external and internal economic partnerships. Sri Lanka's major development projects and infrastructure projects were not delayed due to the pandemic, and also the health and safety of the workers have never been compromised. To maintain the economic momentum, the Sri Lankan strategy has given due focus to preserve the Sri Lankan identity in the international market, where plantation and agricultural sectors are functioning under strict health guidelines despite the pandemic. In this regard, Sri Lanka has special consideration for identical Sri Lankan agriculture products such as tea and spices. Sri Lanka, being a centrally situated country in the Indian Ocean, understands the value of sea transportation, backloading operations, and re-exports. Also, We value the expectations of the friendly foreign countries worldwide and their necessity of providing uninterrupted sea transportation of goods and supplies, in which Sri Lanka plays a vital role. This aspect was widely considered from the beginning of the battle against COVID-19. With the valuable inputs of all economic stakeholders, seaports were continuously in operation amidst the pandemic. Accordingly, the health safety precautions of the employees and the ports were designed, and we have been very successfully functioning the port operations by now. Talking about the way forward, I would like to highlight two aspects. First, what makes Sri Lanka special in this pandemic situation? And second, what lies ahead of us in the post-pandemic transition period? As I said earlier, first we understand that Sri Lanka is located in a blessed and important position in the world map, making it a centralized, focused and strategic land piece in the Indian Ocean. Second, we understand the entire world is disturbed by the COVID-19 pandemic, and the world is eyeing for new strategic businesses, industrial and service partners to ensure the resilience of the economy, taking lessons from COVID-19 pandemic. If we superimpose the strategic location of Sri Lanka, it is possible to identify the opportunities that can reap mutual benefits to Sri Lanka and partners around the world. I believe Sri Lanka is a unique and land of opportunities for economic partnerships as of today. Thus, what lies ahead of us in time to come is the building of fruitful and mutually benefiting relationships with commercial partners around the globe. As I said before, I wish to re-emphasize that Sri Lanka is a land of opportunities and invite this forum to improved connectivity, trusted cooperation, and strategic economic partnerships reaping mutual benefits. Last but not the least, let me thank all the participants and for having me invited to share my thoughts today. I wish you all the very best in future endeavors. Have a good day.